We're getting a strong signal now, everyone, of a big change that's about to happen in our tropics. We even have this up to 50% now right off the east coast where Aaron could form very quickly, showing this will follow Dexter, more likely go out through the east-northeast. And what's over here in the MDR, the main development region, trending more and more that it will be that fish storm, whether it be a sooner turn or a later turn, regardless. A fish storm, we need to watch out for Bermuda. But shortly after that, we need to watch for an area right here after their 12th. After the 12th, the data shows that we're about to go through a new pattern that's going to promote these waves going further towards the west. And just like a train, is going to stay there for the rest of August, potentially. Another area I'm also watching is still showing that we have an area of disorganized thunderstorms that's going to form up over the northeastern Gulf. It's going to coincide with a tropical wave, an upper level low, and try and form something very weak. Not showing a storm or a depression, but just showing it could bring a lot of disorganized thunderstorms so far and just bring a lot of heavy rainfall. But we do need to watch it. It is going into the Gulf, and with those warm waters, anything can happen overnight. So I'm going to show you the latest information in this video, what you can expect around a corner from the tropics, and we're going to start with the data. Now, when we look at our North Atlantic oscillation, you can see that we start going from that positive phase towards that neutral, even a little bit of that negative phase as we go by the 12th and the 13th of August and staying there potentially for the rest of August. Now, you can also see that this is trending on GFS. It's not just Euro. This is a set weather pattern that we're about to go into. Now, for those that don't know, you can see this with Dacky low weather. I show this all the time when we start getting those cold fronts coming through because of a blocking high pressure into the northern Atlantic. But in this scenario, with the blocking high pressure, it's going to help direct traffic further towards the west, because this is all going clockwise. So we have other things to talk about close, and I will go through that as well. But I want to show you in general the weather pattern that we're going into. And you can see right here with the European, once we go past the 12th, this is where the high pressure, not only in the Atlantic, it starts becoming more prominent through the northern Atlantic coming off of Canada. And we could get waves of high pressures bringing cold fronts as well, because this is what this blocking pattern brings. But at the same time, this blocking pattern will bring these waves further towards the west. So we definitely need to watch this. This is going to be a strong transition coming through. And we even have a strong signal that is trending of what could possibly happen. It's still down the road. It's not a set forecast. It's still fighting the dust. But you can also see that these tropical waves are coming off further south off of Africa. That's going to let it tap into a lot of the warm waters and help this strengthen as it goes by the dust. Now, this dust does a lot of hindering effects on these tropical waves, but once these tropical waves get strong enough, it can combat the dust. And you can see after the 8th, we started getting those tropical waves more southern in the MDR, where the thicker of the dust is further towards the north. You still have dust. Matter of fact, this wave right here is in question, but we have multiple waves. We have multiple waves coming off the MDR once we go past the 10th and the 11th, and these start going further towards the west with the dust. So keep in mind the dust. Please don't forget about the dust. So the outlook that we have with Dexter, plus what's going on with this one right off the east coast, will eventually push towards that east-northeast. I'm a strong confident of that. Plus you see what's going on in MDR. We'll swing to the north and to the Atlantic, whether it's going to be early or later. But after that, once we go past the 11th, you'll see the shift. Everything starts shifting towards the west because we start getting this big high pressure over here that starts directing traffic right into this direction and potentially stay around this weather pattern from the middle of August towards the end of August, where multiple tropical waves can come to the west. I'm even seeing chances of multiple storms at the same time still as we go past this date. So some more information I have for you. Here's our potential velocity anomaly. Let's just know when we have sink-in motion, all this red, or rise-in motion, all this blue, favorable or unfavorable environment for storms to form. Now you can see here with the European that we have a lot of favorable environment all the way from the main development region all the way towards the Eastern Caribbean for quite some time as we go through August, and showing that it's still going to have problems with a lot of dust, all this sinking air, unfavorable environment around these tropical waves. We have a tropical wave every 3 days. But confirming, once this wave starts going towards the west, once we go around the 15th through the 20th, still showing that we have a pocket of favorable environment where this storm will strengthen. And this right here, surrounded around a bunch of unfavorable environment, lets me know this will be more than likely last minute formation. We won't see a barrel coming off the MDR. We will see a weak wave trying to form up later and potentially can form up later on. Also, as we look at our long range for our hurricane season, you can see right here, as we go from the 15th through the 20th, here's that pocket of favorable environment. You see all the sinking air behind it. We still have dust coming off of Africa, everyone. Just a little above average if you ask me, but thank God for the dust. Otherwise, we would have been in trouble a long time ago, I do believe. But you can also see, once we go towards the end of August through September, this is our peak of our season, everyone, and we're showing a lot of favorable environment. Even something potentially strong forming up in the Western Caribbean, going through our Gulf. So we need to watch the Gulf being at play as we go through the end of August, beginning of September. And it's mostly due because of that negative NAO directing all the traffic off the MDR. And you can see everything starts strengthening from the MDR all the way towards us once we go through the peak of the season. And it only takes just one to make it above average, a worst case scenario for some people out there, just destruction in general, everyone. So it don't matter if we have a lot of hurricanes or storms, it's just that one that we need to watch for. And unfortunately, in the ensembles, I'm seeing that we could see pairs starting to form up in our Caribbean soon. Now, this is going to be worrisome, so don't take this as a barrel or a killer storm coming around the corner. This is a lot of convection. That big pocket of convection I showed you as we go towards the end of August, beginning of September. This is not the wave that we're looking at after the 12th, but showing eventually we could see a powerful storm, and this is the most convection lift I've seen on a tropical wave in quite some time, showing we could see something start strengthening once it gets away from that dust. And once again, you can see it taking that southern route over here off the coast of Africa, and something could strengthen up in the Caribbean, also follow that pattern right into our Gulf, everyone. But as of making this video, showing that nothing really forms up, and we could see Aaron form at the last moment, just like Dexter, way out here into the Atlantic as we go literally 8 days away, going towards 9 days away. While we have that concerning southern tropical wave starting to make its way across the MDR, trying to strengthen over here by the Caribbean by the 14th, right when we start getting that high pressure coming into the Atlantic, doing more of a block and more of a westward path. So here's what you're looking at, and here's some of the worrisome key points I have, not only for that blocking pattern directing the traffic, the new signal of everything shifting a little bit further into the Caribbean. When we look at our temperatures, now our sea surface temperatures are very strong right off the southern end of Africa. This is where it's at least 80 degrees and needs 80 to sustain a tropical system. And you can see if it does come off on southern Africa, it will more likely tap into all these warm waters, and it will help it strengthen. Now, it has a problem with the dust, but eventually it will overcome the dust, and the warm waters will help these thunderstorms strengthen. Question is it going to be vertically stacked when it gets into the Caribbean? Is it going to be something very weak, because we're seeing that as well, or is it going to be something stronger where it's already combating the dust? Another thing to look at is our deep ocean heat content, because you can also see that once these tropical waves starts getting past the Caribbean and starts going further towards the west, because of this train of this weather pattern that we're going into once we go past the 12th or the 13th, there is a lot of deep ocean heat for these waves to tap into. Now, if you don't know, when a tropical storm starts strengthening up, trying to be something, it starts whirling around and pulling up the temperatures down below in the sea or ocean. Now, this is showing that we have a lot of very warm waters down below, so it would help strengthen this storm rather than hinder it with cooler waters. So a lot warmer water, so whatever comes into the Caribbean, if it don't have shear and if it gets away from this dust, could be a potential problem. So where are we at? And remember, I do believe we will see a lemon forming somewhere over here. Just something to look out for. Maybe a 10%, nothing super big. But as of where we at right now, we have the disturbance off the East Coast that's going to take all the way towards this weekend to try and form up something probably following the same path as Dexter. I will keep you updated. There's a small chance it could stall by that block and high pressure that's coming in, and maybe the ridge could pull it back towards the west. So we will see. It's still down the road. Right now it's at 40% in the next 7 days. It is at 10% in the next 48 hours. Showing that a tropical depression could form by this weekend as it generally moves westward and then eventually moving northward. So we do need to watch it. If that block and high pressure comes in, that high ridge could pull this right towards the coast. And that was the trend for a while, but the latest trend shows that it will not block it and more likely will push it out. Still, we need to watch it. And still showing there's probably no threat on this one besides maybe for Bermuda, but it is at 50% in the next 7 days. This is not anytime soon. This is going to be further down the path. It has problems in dust. Now this is moving generally west-northwest, so it will either be something into this direction or it will form up late and then be into this direction is what I do believe. Now, before I go through the rest of the video, a quick stop to remind you about the app coming live soon, everyone. So you can scan this QR code. It'll bring you to a link to where you just put in your email address and your name, and you'll sign up for when the app goes live. That way you'll have the app. It's going to be a great community where we help a lot of people and give a lot of information. Also, there's special features. We're trying to promote this app and trying to get it seen by as many people as possible. This is going to be a community I'm going to work on all year long, every year, something I want to grow. I think it'd be very helpful for people to get good and accurate information, not only on weather, homesteading, and survival information. There'll be some good tips, everybody. Information everyone needs if you're working on your own homesteading. But if you could help support it and do any kind of donation, you can scan this QR code here. Donate the program. The owners are giving special things for you all year long just for your help. And just a quick reminder, so thank you all for your time. Now let's get back to the information. Now this is the one that GFS has been hinting at, maybe around the 10th or 11th, that it could be a very weak wave passing by the Lesser Antilles and then start strengthening up later on by the Bahamas by the time you get to the 13th. Now, once we get to the 13th and 14th, that's when we're going to start getting that blocking pattern, and the waves after this is going to start going towards the west. So for this to go towards the west, really I'm seeing this as a group of moisture, not really organized, everyone. But still, GFS is trying to show that this could be one that's going towards the Bahamas and towards the East Coast. I've even seen people say we got a major hurricane coming towards the Carolinas. Do not believe this. This is still way down the road. GFS is the only model showing that, everybody. Almost like an outlier. Remember, an outlier is the only one that has a crazy scenario other than the trend. Matter of fact, when you look at the dust, because the dust is doing a lot of hindering right now, it's been for the past month now, that you can see this tropical wave, all this moisture, getting together right here, and you can see the dust behind it. And if you follow it, you can see it tries to get some kind of closed low center right there, just like what GFS is seeing right around the 10th. But still not showing it to get anything good out of that, and it just will get smushed by the dust. Now, talking about what comes after that, because after that is where we're going to get that blocking pattern in the Atlantic, and these are going to come further towards the west. And that next wave that comes through from the 11th through the 14th, you can see this on the GEOS satellite as well. It is a big and broad wave, also having some dust intertwined with it. And right here is just a group of disorganized thunderstorms. Now this is still down the road. This is obviously 8 to 10 days away, so a lot of change can happen. Anything past 3 to 5 days does go through a lot of changes, everybody. Now this shows it has a lot of dust with it, and if you follow the last couple of days with it, you can see that dust is traveling with it. At the same time, this could go through some dramatic changes, but we're seeing the same thing on Euro AI. A weak wave right now, but later on it will eventually get away from this dust and could potentially strengthen, so we do need to watch it. And you can see this right here. So as we go towards the 13th and the 14th, that tropical wave comes towards the Lesser Antilles, and you can see that's a big broad wave. This has a little bit of rotation to it. It has all that dust still with it. Not a lot of dust, but it has a good bit on the northern and the eastern side of it. But it's keeping it very big and disorganized. This is just bring rainfall, maybe some winds with it. But if you follow along, now remember, we're going past 10 days here. Anything could change, but I will show you the ensemble so you can see the trend. And the latest run with the Euro AI shows that that wave does get directed towards the west, and it starts strengthening as it gets away from that dust, going further and further towards the west. Now, I'm not saying anyone prepare for this. If you're in the Gulf, you're in the East Coast, we have no warnings for you to prepare. This is just a watch. We are still days from this scenario even reaching right here. So just stay up to date. So when we try and find a trend, so we go by the Eurodeterministics. The Eurodeterministics shows that it could probably combat that dust and it will fight off that dust. You see how it comes further southern than the AI. The AI takes it northern. So remember, if it's northern, more chances it'll be cooler waters. It will interact with the dust a little bit more. If it's further southern, it will hit warmer waters, and it could strengthen a little bit more to where it could combat the dust. And it can't just be some little wave trying to form up. It's got to be a storm that's combating that dust. Now, the Euro has been consecutively showing a strong system coming by the Lesser Antilles as you go by the 13th and 14th, as we get this blocking pattern of this traffic coming through, and it could potentially strengthen up in the Caribbean to something big and scary. So whether it was northern or whether it was southern, they're kind of hinting that we have something meeting up into the Western Caribbean right around the 18th and the 19th. This is right when we have that pocket of favorable environment, if you remember in the beginning of the video. So as we look with ensembles, we're going to go through 50 members with the Euro. You can see with the first 25 members, as we get by the 11th, showing that something could form up right there in the Eastern Caribbean is shown in a couple of them. You also see over down here that we could get something front-induced, late formation, right around the Gulf as well. So we do need to watch that group of disorganized thunderstorms just in case. We are seeing this in a few of the members, even over here as well, showing it could be just a group of disorganized thunderstorms, but we could see that tropical depression try and form up to a weak tropical storm. Not seeing a chance for a hurricane, mainly because of a time limit issue. But you can see after you get past 11th, showing in multiple ensembles that this could be a wave going through the west, through the Caribbean, and these are showing together. Maybe go around towards the Gulf. It's still days down the road, so we got to watch it. And you can see right here, it could stay weak into the Gulf and finally do a last minute formation. So we have multiple options. The one part that's starting to agree with these ensembles is once we go into that set pattern of the NAO problem, once we hit the 14th, this is where a lot of these models, never mind what you see by the Gulf, this is where a lot of these models, these ensembles show that could start forming up something into the Caribbean and maybe get that 1-2 punch as well, where the second one could go into the Atlantic, the second one could go into the Caribbean. We have multiple options, but this right here is too far of an array to really say what is happening. All we can take from this is that we have a lot of favorable environment coming around the corner, and we need to watch this weather pattern because it's starting to get very concerning. You can see this once again on the other 25 members. Once you go past the 10th, you start seeing some kind of close formation into the Gulf. Not everywhere, but you can see it on a few members. While you also have these tropical waves that tries to form up late into the Caribbean and into the Gulf. You can see this starting to trend a little bit on a few of them. Also seeing that 1-2 punch start coming through the Caribbean, through the Atlantic, and start bringing a potential problem. Once again, this is strengthening and this is an issue. But don't forget, we still have the dust. You can see in a few of these, it's not really trending what they are saying, but they are showing a lot of weakness as well. So we got to take this literally one day at a time, everybody. All we know is once we go past the 12th and the 13th, we're going to start seeing a westward path on these waves. The question is, are they going to get away from the dust? And what strength are they going to be as soon as they enter the Caribbean? 1 John chapter 4, 20 and 21. If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother, whom he hath seen, how can he love God, whom he hath not seen? And this commandment have we from him, that he who loved God love his brother also. Amen. above all things. All glory does go to God, our Father in heaven, Yahweh. And I always hope He keeps you safe every single day of your life, everyone that is around you, and forever. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen. Have a great day, everyone. I will keep you updated.